Some Laugh is back doing a live pod for the first time in a while. We will be back in Glasgow, won't we, Stephen?
Yes, at the brand new Stand Comedy Club in Glasgow town.
On the 15th of December.
It's a Monday, but it's going to be a bloody laugh.
Well, it's
going to feel like a Saturday.
Season. Yeah, it's festive season, so you've got to do it quite a lot. Anyway, Monday probably hopefully won't clash with a works night suit, that type of thing. So if you're a fan of the pod, you'd like to come see the live show, well, hopefully see you there.
See you there.
See you there.
Welcome to the Some Laugh podcast.
It could be like, oh, that was some laugh, or there was just some laughs.
Well, no promising all laugh.
No, there's going to be some.
It's some laugh. Is there a certain song that you've had to play on radio that like just wound you up the most?
All of them, I think. Yeah, well, the one Alex Warren, "Ordinary,"
Right.
is at the Ordinary, which is a great song.
Aye.
But then Grado basically told me that it's the emotional song that he's got with his kid, and it reminds him of the death of Hulk Hogan.
Right.
Both of which are emotional things for him in his life. And
He's sat greeting once an hour.
Yeah, and that then phases to now Grado's saying, "Gonna fucking put that off." I hate it. And now I hate Hulk Hogan. So yeah, as you say, it's playlist radio.
Aye.
So you're going to get the same songs coming up.
The hardest thing for me, because you've done radio for years and years now, Des,
Yeah.
and like the hardest thing I would imagine, like doing breakfast stuff, is that like have you ever had like a gig the night before, and then like, what's the latest you've ever got in for a gig and then had to do the radio in the
Done
morning?
all-nighters.
Really?
I mean, this is not, again, I don't want to name drop because this is a really obscure name, and I am not the wrestler on our breakfast show, but I once spent most of the night in Chris Jericho's tour bus. So I'm going to set the scene. Chris Jericho is
Did
a
they break
wrestler.
down your walls?
What a lovely metaphor. And what an amazing video that would be. Again, for context, I was bummed by Chris Jericho. No. Amazing wrestler, also a rock singer in a band called Fozzy. And my sister used to be head of the UK fan club for Fozzy. And I, as a kid, was a big wrestling fan, and I got the chance to meet Chris Jericho, and he played the Cat House in Glasgow. And it was a great scenes as we went for a chippy afterwards. And I thought, wow, this wrestling diet really is high energy and high protein. And then I got a chance to stay on his tour bus, but I had the breakfast show the next morning, and I have no idea what happened on that tour bus or on the breakfast show.
That's so good.
And but that has happened where you've had to do gigs and do.
Yeah.
I remember I got an annual gig for some reason. I was doing in Alton Towers.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, and it was well paid, and I get free roller
I'd love
coaster
to just
access.
have a little look at your diary. Can you share it with me? You can share on iCal.
Usually it's search history. People ask for it. Yeah, so that also meant. But yeah, you do get and you can have access to the diary.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely.
But but it's wild. But that's the trade-off I always had, because I started out as a stand-up, and then when somebody comes in and says you want to do radio, breakfast is the biggest gig you can do, but it starts really early.
When's your alarm set?
5.
That's it.
And I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
It used to be earlier than
What
that.
time do you need to go to bed, but?
About 5 to 5. Usually by about 9 o'clock I'm getting that way. I probably, if it's a non-gig night,
Totally.
I would start going to bed.
Aye.
And then if you think about that's just by the time you get to sleep, it's 7 or 8 hours. So that's not too bad.
Pretty good.
So it's decent.
What time do you finish usually?
On air at 10, usually probably another hour or so. We'll have meetings and things like that, or pre-recorded stuff that we might need to do.
Aye.
So I've become part of the 5 a.m. club without the kind of the madness of Mark Wahlberg.
Not playing 2 rounds of golf.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just arm wrestling with God. 46.
Because it's funny to say about like starting stand-up, because I think like you've got such a unique set of skills, Des, because like not only like
It's like an assassin.
It's a little bit, yeah.
There's not that many folk that have got like the kind of presenting skills that you've got, as well as like the comedy chops. Because like when we do breaking the news and stuff like that, not only like you're dead quick with the jokes all the time, but you're also like you're just so slick and just make it look dead easy, because you've just got such a you've got such like a long time presenting experience kind
That's
of thing.
nice. That's a nice way of saying I'm old.
No, no, but it's just that it's a skill set that not a
Yeah.
lot of people have got. I mean, I'm just if it wasn't for you, the Scottish Curry Awards would be fucked.
Mate, you have no idea. I get that all the time, every night. And the Scottish Funeral Awards,
All of that.
they are just about hanging on. The British Aerosol Awards.
What is the maddest one you've done? Because you are the king of the corporates
That's up
in
there, the
Scotland.
British Aerosol Awards. Yeah, that I thought it was a typo. And,
Was it like Oost and like?
yeah, I think it was for the pumps that they used for it. I did it one year, Neil Delamere did it the next year. So they really love their comedians for this one.
You ever done the Fisherman's Award?
Is that a metaphor?
It's something that I always bring up. This is my
Steve
worst
done the
ever
Fisherman's
corporate.
Awards.
The what?
My worst ever is just the Fisherman's Award. Have you ever done it?
Was
in
it?
Aberdeen?
I've done an award for the fisherman. I don't know if it's your specific one.
A rival award show.
Yeah. But yours wasn't it just with one guy in his boat, wasn't it? It was just.
I got kidnapped for a weekend.
What? I thought they were all right. Why did you not?
I hated it.
Do you want to tell Des some of the jokes you said?
You didn't try and do fish-based material, did you?
No, I was going to open with that and then I
Oh my
forgot.
God.
But I don't do a lot of corporates. I don't like I just don't like them. But have you got like a certain corporate set that you would stick to, or do you tailor your material to what type of gig you're doing?
A bit of both. I mean, like, I always think I'm limited generally, but when I do, you get what you get from me.
Absolutely.
So, but no, I will obviously, if I'm booked to host, you'll try and be generally improvisationally funny if you can throughout the night. But you always try and find a bit about the industry or about the corporate company you can throw in there.
Totally.
It's like anything. If you're doing a gig to a set amount of people and you can reference some people in the room, that's quite a good thing to do.
So with the Fisherman's Award, you just need to find an angle.
Hey, come on.
I think you actually said that.
That is one of my bits.
We've got to get you booked for that next year.
100%. But what I was going to say was, so you did start stand up before you get any presenting stuff? Really?
Way before it. So the story of me was very introverted, very shy, cripplingly shy. So I didn't have any of this in me. It wasn't natural. I knew nobody that did this, but I was always funny with my wee 2 or 3 friends that I had, the ones that didn't bully me. So as I always say, growing up with the name Desmond in the Gorbals at that era, it was a challenge. But that was always there. I always loved watching comedy. And I'd do a thing where I'd watch it, and I felt like I got, as a kid, a good rhythm of watching it enough that I could guess the punchline. I knew where it was going to go. So that was the sort of just watching TV from every comedian at that era, from Billy Connolly to Bobby Davro. And I would always watch them and just almost geekishly.
You can see that influence. So.
Yeah. I probably span both of those comedians.
In both camps.
Yeah, very
Have you
much
seen
so.
Bobby Davro? Because he does the Fringe now at Frankenstein's every year.
I've not seen him live. How was?
We should go. Go
Okay.
next year.
Please do that.
A couple of jars and Bobby Davro.
He'd love that. But yeah, so watching all of that, and then my mate encouraged me to do the school talent show, and that was it. I got a feeling and I got a feedback, maybe an acceptance that I'd never had before.
Right.
And then I did a comedy course, which is probably something you've heard from many people, with Viv G.
Viv G.
You did that,
course.
So when I was
done it,
17, I did that. Did you do it as well?
Do you know what's interesting? Because when I went to do it, I was really new, but she didn't have enough space in the course. So I then done it a year later, but by that point I'd done like 30 gigs. So I was like the most experienced
showing off.
guy. Like I was
Yeah.
in the, like, but that it just gave me the confidence of going, oh, like if you just do it a bit more, you get better. So like that actually really helped me out doing the course a year later.
Yeah.
I
Because
was
she
just a
does
bit-
do 2 courses. She does like an advanced course and a beginner's course, does she not? But you're doing the beginner's
I was
course
doing the
as a
beginner
year
on
in.
that.
Trying to
A
make
bit more
himself look
advanced.
amazing.
Just crushing it.
It's like being Keck Rack a year at school or something. Doing your fucking, doing your standard grades when you're in 6th year or whatever.
Guys headlining the Glee going, first time I've done it, mate. So see how it goes. And that was the way in though, Viv's
Aye.
course. And
Did you not go to school with Scott Agnew though?
absolutely, yeah.
yeah.
So I went to school with Scott Agnew and Eddie Cassidy. Did you
Aye,
all know
aye,
Eddie?
aye.
Who was a Scottish Comedian of the Year.
Shout out,
And brilliant, great acts. And Scott was just a pal of mine.
Aye.
So we went to school together, and I was the editor of the yearbook and Scott was the deputy editor. So that was it. And then he went into this career in journalism, and then in the interim I did the course when I was 17, but I wasn't ready to do stand-up. Age of 19, started doing stand-up, and I got runner-up and So You Think You're Funny, like
Amazing.
4 months later. And Scott was working for the Rutherglen Reformer Yeah. I know it sounds like an addict's help service,
Aye.
which may be appropriate for Scott.
Not connected with Nigel Farage's party.
We'd like to put it on the record.
We've seen some right-wing pivots in comedy, but if Scott Agnew did it, I'd be like, fuck
That's the one I pay to see. That's the one that you never saw. But yeah, so Agnew then got sent by his editor to do an article on me. This young guy that he knew and went to school with in the south side of Glasgow. And then he did the article from like a first person perspective. So the editor says, will you give it a go as well, Scott? And he was instantly funnier than me. he was brilliant. And then over time he just dropped the journalism thing and became a full-time stand-up.
Yeah, totally.
Amazing.
No, that's interesting. And right, so, because I don't know much about this, Des, but all I know is this, that you were on SMTV right after Ant Dec left.
There was a gap.
Right.
Thankfully, I didn't have to directly follow them. I had to follow, trying to remember, I think it was H and Claire from Steps.
Steps.
Wow.
I think it
Still
was.
big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Really big. You know, that was the era that I was in.
So how did that come about then?
So, very long story short, I started the radio when I was 21. I get spotted to do a thing called Beat 106.
Aye.
Comedy done quite well. I'd done all right in the open mics. I was getting...
Was Beat 106 Capital before it was Capital? No,
Yeah,
kinda.
I've seen so many media brands die. I worked with Satanta briefly before they won. I worked with Beat 106. Capital went, then Heart. Everybody dies when I touch them. So good luck with the podcast, guys.
It's our final episode.
Yeah. I will say I was the last ever presenter on SMTV as well. So that's what happened.
Did
And
you
then-
have a co-presenter on SMTV?
Yeah, so I was on with Tess Daly.
Brilliant.
And
I dressed up as her on Friday for Halloween.
There you
Wow.
go.
Yeah,
Full
text her
circle
to
moment.
that. I just put a wig on, that was it. Because my girlfriend was dressed as Claudia Winkleman and she looked very good.
And how was that?
Itchy. Don't know if she does it.
That's why he's the most clean shaven he's been in ages.
No, you do. I'm liking this kind of almost boyish
Thank you, yeah.
look
charm.
about you, yeah.
But anyway, this isn't
No.
about me.
I like
Tell
hearing
me
your
more
dress
about
up stories.
B106.
No, well that was still going, and then I guess there was auditions or something, and my agent at the time was Marlena.
Yeah.
And she then
Daniel Sloss fame.
and more, yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if the agent is the fame part, is it?
Marlena found out about this gig, SMTV. They were looking for new people. Ant Dec had gone,
Yeah.
and they were now doing more primetime stuff. And then they'd had a new presenter lineup. I think it was H and Claire. Tess was around at this point. Kat Deely was doing CDUK, and they were looking for new people. And I got cast with an amazing New Zealand comedy presenter performer called Siobhan Rukeri,
Right.
and she was so funny,
Aye.
and she was absolutely brilliant. And then I got in as well. And you know that way people always love to think they were the first pick. For almost every gig that I did, I was last. They'd been through everyone, and I was the same for the radio. It's the same. I wasn't even first pick for Breaking the News. I wasn't first pick for SMTV.
Was it? I think were you talking about this? But I'd done it last week. But was it Fred that was meant to do it? You were saying?
As I was told, Fred was lined up to do Breaking the News.
And that was only because Bobby Davro said no.
I'd love Davro to do it. Can we get Davro on this podcast?
Oh, we've tried
Oh,
many
man.
times. His fee's too big for
He
us.
is. It's all cash as well. Has to be English notes. Yeah.
I just don't think they'd be able to keep much of what he says in the podcast. To be fair.
I know. 3 minutes long.
I just
probably.
remember he did a brilliant impression of Zippy for Rainbow. That was.
What was that?
That was, which also doubles as my Josh Widdicombe. So that's very similar. So yeah, that's how all that came about, and then things like that just kept happening to me where I was not ever the first choice, but
Yeah.
maybe if they land on you in the end, it's like a house. If it's the last one you see, you go, "This'll do."
You're the first choice now for many things. You're the go-to for corporates.
Yeah,
and all
I'm just
that.
counting how many episodes of this have been before you got me on. I'll take that.
We'll get into this. We'll
I
get
know,
into it.
we'll get him eventually.
No.
But no, thanks for asking, Matt. It was a brilliant time in my life.
Yeah.
Being live TV, 2 hours every day, and
It must have been
dressing up.
mad with being so young and then you're on the telly. Like, that's a big show. I remember watching it as a kid. And like, what was it like when you were actually doing it? Like, was
Madness,
it,
mate,
aye.
madness. And I was so nervous. Like, as I keep saying, it's different the way that I present myself now. But I'm still 21, 22. Coming
that's
from that,
so young
I
for
know
that.
it was, and at that time there maybe wasn't the safeguards of being exposed to high level media and just being in the spotlight of being from nowhere to you're doing a shoot for Hello magazine. and all that. I'm like, wow, I've still got the denim jacket, thanks very much. and they had just a PR machine down there that they were launching us as new presenters, and then later Steve Mulhern came on and joined us. He was already doing well on CITV, and you just felt like you were part of something massive at that time. You know, and with Madonna on, with all the guests, I interviewed Britney Spears.
No way.
Dressed as
This would be
Eminem.
like in a pomp as well, right?
You were dressed as Eminem?
I was dressed as Eminem, yeah. So we used to do a wee feature called Eminemerdale. What I walked out in kids' telly and in radio, you start with a pun, then the idea could come after it.
Absolutely.
So the little skits, this came from the Ant Dec tradition of doing like Friends, they called it Chums.
Chums,
so then we started doing more of those. So we had, it wasn't Harry Potter, it was Harry Trotter. So they'd have Harry Potter, which was Brian Dowling. Don't forget, Brian was on the show. He won Big Brother, and he was fantastic. And he played Harry Potter, and I played Del Boy.
Aye.
We don't know why, but I was Del Boy, you know. So it was all that kind of. See, I can't do impressions, but I can do one or two lines of each. It's a lot of Davro studying over the years, and so they try and mix these different worlds. That worked for them. So they did. Eminem lived in Yorkshire. Eminemerdale. So
nice.
they then liked the character, and so it was the Eminem phase where it was the dungarees, the white t-shirt, the sort of schema, the mask thing,
the
and
mask
the
and all that,
chainsaw.
aye.
And I then did a This Is Your Life on Britney Spears live at ITV, and I had to jump out of a foam wall, and no one had told her or her security.
Oh fuck.
So
they run on?
They jumped on.
Did they?
They thought they had to be then helped. One
guy's got a
one of them
chainsaw.
goes, yeah, this guy's got a chainsaw.
Jason Voorhees jumped on stage.
They jumped on. I've got a chainsaw on live TV attacking Britney Spears with a mask on. She was kind of okay with it. I think this is the sort of thing that would happen in her daily life anyway. And I read This Is Your Life book, so the producer eventually kind of got him back from me. And I remember very clearly, I then had to do the rest of the interview in character. So Brittany, how you do it? And everything had to rhyme. And it was, I went Glaswegian about halfway through. But I remember, and I've still got a tiny little scar. You'll never see this in camera. There's a little tiny sort of semicircle crescent moon there. That was from when I burst through the wall to interview Brittany. They hadn't done it right. They hadn't put the wall up right. So I had to... It made it worse, and I understand why security went from, because I started punching the wall, and I had to, and I'd drawn blood.
Jeez.
So I had,
And this was live on
this was
telly?
live, yeah.
Should've got Chris Jericho.
I was breaking. Thank you. That's why he's here. Now we know. And I literally couldn't break down the walls. And I was also breaking in a new pair of contact lenses, so my eyes were streaming, and I had the blood pouring out, and I had a chainsaw. I would have attacked me.
This was the golden age of TV.
This was,
wasn't it?
yeah.
This was.
Where's the footage of that?
Mr. Beast isn't fit to list the bits of a man who's been on SMTV Live.
Couldn't do it now. But yeah, that was the era where that kind of thing happened every week. It was such a great education for me. No auto cue.
Yeah.
So it was all, you had to memorise the script, and we had cue cards for like aid memoir.
Jeez,
like a bit Saturday Night Live when you see them looking at cue cards.
the cue cards thing.
Well, that was always the way they used to do it. That was it for us.
Let me ask you this, because you mentioned the contact lenses. I know you've had laser. Is
Yes.
that right? How is it hard to read auto cue stuff with the contact lenses? And is it easier since you've had laser eyes?
Basically, Mark's been thinking about like,
I
just
shat
in
out
recently.
I nearly shat it.
Really?
Oh my God. People can go with bravado. I'm not. I'm very honest about the fact that I get nervous, I get anxious about things.
Aye.
You done a TV show about all that sort of stuff?
I
didn't you?
did.
We can get onto that.
And it did very well. Thanks for bringing it up. But I know what you mean. So I had this childhood where I didn't do a lot. I think I was rightfully protected from myself and from others, and a lot of things that you would have done as a kid, I didn't do. So it became a thing where I become nervous about stuff generally. Laser eye for me was about 7 or 8 years ago.
Aye.
I always was a glasses wearer as a kid. And one of the many nicknames I had as a kid was Rose West. Because she was big at that time in the news, and I had the exact glasses.
You should have just waited for murderer glasses to come into fashion.
Well, obviously you've then taken it to a whole new level, Mark, and you look brilliant.
Thank you.
And the fact that you murder in real life,
Yeah. Well, you've got
commit to the bit.
Exactly. Aye.
So I always was a glasses wearer, and contacts were a nightmare. So I got it done, and but I nearly bricked it. I nearly got out of it.
Because one of the things I thought I was like, see if I ever had to read autocue and stuff, it would help, because I've never had contacts, but I could get them. But would you think, like, was it just the same basically doing it either way?
It was perfect.
Really?
It was great. As soon as I came out, so the aftercare is you've got lots of drops to put in. I never thought we'd be having this chat, but this is brilliant.
Did you get LASIK or LASIK?
I don't know. I don't know.
Didn't even ask what Britney was like.
How long was the recovery time?
In terms of, well, about a week later, I was fine.
Right,
I had bloodshot eyes, not for the first time, and I was.
Since you were on that bus with Chris Jericho.
Exactly, yeah. I don't know what happened that night, honestly. But I was having to put these drops in every day, and I got out though. It only took a minute or so. I think it was 37 seconds in each eye.
Aye.
And they do what they do, and I was warned before I go in. Don't worry, you will smell burning. That is your eyeballs.
Yeah.
So that's what you need to know, and it is the full James Bond thing. You're fully awake, but your eyes are numbed.
The laser's gone up your bollocks.
Unbelievably so. My God, my third eye has never seen better. I went into the waiting room and I came out and I could see so clearly instantly. Wow. There was a magazine, I think it was 442 on the other side, and it was Ronaldinho was in the front of it for some reason. And I could see so beautifully and clearly. However, I nearly bottled it on the day. And the woman behind reception, I'll never forget, because I was so nervous, because you're thinking, it's my eyes. I know it's a quick procedure, but I'm really nervous about being awake when it's happening, and what if it goes wrong, but I know it'll make a big difference. Yeah. And the woman said to me that was working in there, I was about to leave, and she saw that I was completely chalk white, and she just went like, have you thought about going for a jobby? I was like, is this official medical advice? She went, it's probably just a jobby you need. And I said,
that's insane.
Okay. And I went for the most powerful shite I've ever taken. And I came back and I was great. So now whenever I've got a stressful situation, just go for a shite. That was her advice. So you might get that on the day. You could save one.
Interesting. Well, that's
keep one in the chamber in case you need it. And then it's there for you. But yeah, that was that.
Wow.
Again, I didn't know you wanted to know that advice.
Well, I was interested, just it was something I knew that you'd done.
And you're right, with things like that and seeing from distance and reading stuff, which for my job's quite important, makes it so much easier.
Totally. Well,
that's good. That was the real reason they wanted me along here.
Yeah, hoping you got what you needed from that.
That was just for me. You can cut that out.
He's now texting Optical Express as we speak.
Vision Scotland.
What was Madonna like?
Madonna was amazing. Madonna was a real professional, and
get her on Breaking the News.
Yeah, she was her. Davro, same episode.
You ever seen her stand up? She did stand up on Jimmy Fallon or something once.
No, she did.
She did. Yeah.
Madonna
on YouTube.
Oh,
yeah, you can watch it.
Is this
it's very unrelatable.
Right.
She's talking about like a Picasso she owns or something.
Nice.
Try that at Blackfriars.
It's like she brings back a guy and then she doesn't want him to ruin the Picasso or something.
Something like that.
We've all been there. Aye. Who's buying a Picasso tonight? Yeah, she was great. Total pro. Arrived, everything like completely sorted. Always felt, and I've been lucky enough, I'm not at that level and never will be, but when you meet people that are at the top level, they're amazing.
Who's your biggest people you've met other than the aforementioned?
Britney's up there. McCartney.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you do with him?
I love the Beatles, and they're icons, and it was a surprise one. So it wasn't. I was doing a show in Camden at the time in the MTV studios, and I think that's where MTV and VH1 were based. And again, this was maybe late noughties, and he must have been in doing an interview of some sort. So I was in the makeup chair, getting ready to interview a magician. And
I'd love it if you were still dressed as Eminem.
all right, Marshall. So I was, just for context, I had to go and do my makeup then. The magician was getting in and getting the room ready, as it were, for his surprise magic. So it was obviously, that revealed the curtain there. So I had to go and do my makeup, and I walked out of the chair, and she'd finished me, and then McCartney walks right in. No people around him, no security, no entourage, just Sir Paul McCartney right there. So it was not one that I could prepare for. It lasted all of 30 seconds, and it was just like, all right, mucker.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
That's
and
great.
I was like, that's all I needed,
That's
right?
brilliant.
And he sat in the chair, and I was just going, just saying nothing, but not leaving the room.
Must be exhausting because everyone he meets is like that all day long.
Yeah, I know, and I was exactly like that. I'm not proud of it, but he sat in the chair, and then she was like, "So what is it you're needing? Just make me look as young as him." And I went, "I'll take that," and I walked out.
That's beautiful.
That's brilliant.
And went to interview a shite magician.
Glasgow is going to be hosting the Commonwealth Games again. Is it next year?
Yeah.
You, of course, hosted the closing ceremony last time.
Which was
With
again
the-
an accident.
The tea cakes and all that.
Oh,
You
that
were-
mate, yeah,
you
that
were in
was
amongst it, weren't you?
2014. That was a lovely, amazing surprise moment. I was there to do. So I was basically hosting all different events. Rugby sevens, I'm your man. Cycling, get me in there. Aquatic aerobics, I'll do it.
Is this for the telly coverage?
Yeah, so this was, well, yes and no. So I was doing the live coverage just for the audience
Like
there.
I'm saying.
And then, so pretty much doing that. And it was a production company that weren't from Scotland. And I don't know if they'd run me through some sort of stats, but they said, you're the guy.
Yeah.
You know how when they try and sign a footballer now and it's like Moneyball and they
Yeah,
went,
they do,
you're the
yeah.
guy.
Your expected jokes.
Yeah. We're quite high.
Expected lols.
Yes, expected lols. We should do that for comedy.
Got to say a heat map of Des Clarke's gigs over the
a lot
country.
of front stage work, less setup, more punch, which is what we wanted. So they basically, again, this company came in that didn't know me, an international production company, and they booked me initially for the pre-show on the opening night, which was at Celtic Park.
Yeah.
And it was to start 14 minutes past 8 p.m, so 2014. So I would do the pre-show with the audience there that would then take us up to live. And there was no presenter. There usually isn't a presenter for an opening or closing ceremony. It's just like some sort of tableau effect that happens and different things
So
come
maybe
in.
get a kind of Graham Norton doing Eurovision like voiceover on
Exactly.
the telly.
So what
Aye.
you get is like a Hazel Irvine
Aye.
type character doing a voiceover, and then it's just describing the action. So that's the way it was for, as you say, the tea cakes and all of the
John
opening.
Barrowman kissing.
John Barrowman kissing whoever wanted kissed.
What did he kissed either? It was either the camera or he kissed like.
No, I
I've got no
was that
memory of
tea
this.
cake?
No, I think he. I think it was a caramel log. No, I think Barrowman did kiss a guy.
that was it.
Karen Dunbar did a bit. I'm trying to figure out and remember which one Subo was at. I think it might have been that one. Rod was there. The Queen.
The Queen, of course, at
Of
Celtic
course,
Park. Yeah.
yes. And a way tie for her, as she said at the time. In the scarphone. And the atmosphere was incredible.
Yeah.
I've been so lucky to be in these situations, and being a boy from Glasgow who grew up in a scheme not far away from there.
Gorbals.
Gorbals, to be part of that, it was just amazing. I don't know if a local producer would have given me that. So it maybe took someone international to say, well, you look like modern Scotland, modern Glasgow, we'll get you in.
Yeah.
And then they'd work with me a little bit in the practicing for the opening. We couldn't get access to Celtic Park, so we did it all. I think it was at Bellhouston Academy School. So to mark out what it's going to be like, and I had to go, right, so Barrowman kisses him there. And then the tea cake comes from there, and I thought, this is an acid dream. And at this stage, they still had the Red Road Flats getting blown up as part of it as well. So it came to a point in the pre-build-up where they went, we've got another idea for you. Oh, that's quite good. More cycling. And they said, no, come in here. And they took me into their offices in the centre of Glasgow, and they just opened a room, and they had a...
Big red button for blowing up the flats.
Absolutely. Right, just press that now. But there's people in it. Press it now. And
Des Clarke Oppenheimer.
Exactly. What does this do? Oh my God. Quarantine's gone. So they took me into a room, and they had like a really cool model of Hampden Park. So I knew, well, that's not the opening. And they had different tents. They had a festival up. They did stages. Kylie's going to be there. Lulu's going to be there. Scotty Dogs are going to be there.
What a crazy show this is.
Yeah, I know. And then they had a figurine that I was like, oh. And they went, and that's you. I'm like, what? And then they showed me a storyboard, and they said, we want you to host it.
Amazing.
I said,
amazing.
what? And so it was revealed like that too. Obviously, the guy that ran it had a real sense of theatre.
Yeah, it's like a
This could have been an
kid's
email.
birthday party or something.
Can I get fries and ice cream? Yeah.
So he went Goodfellas when he's been a made man, except you're not getting shot, you're actually getting
Exactly. I'm going to meet Lulu. And that was it. They told me they'd storyboarded it, and if I was up for it, then I was like, well, I've got a show at the Assembly Rooms that day, but I think we can get out of that one. And that was how they told me. So they wanted somebody on screen. Again, no auto cue, nothing, just somebody on screen. Again, yeah. They just had a camera, and it was a case of just trying to remember the links and microphone like this and just guide the audience through it, because they felt it was too bitty and they wanted that festival feel, and they feel that needed a presenter, and they liked the idea of me bookending. So doing the pre-show, which was streamed live, it wasn't put on BBC One, and then they wanted me to be the closing. So,
What's going through your head when they're asking you to do this? Are you shiting yourself when you're thinking about like, I need to actually be on live TV doing all this?
Yeah.
You're saying like you're quite anxious and stuff. Do you still get that before
Absolutely.
gigs?
Well, I know I'm already thinking about Hogmanay this year.
Are you?
Because I'm the live guy. So I'm that guy.
But then surely like, every day on the radio and obviously like, the kind of experience for stand-up, that must just be like, it must almost be like second nature to you at this point.
Stand-up is the biggest thing that helped me. Honestly, the ability to do that helped me with everything else. So once I'm one of those that I'm not the most confident guy in the room, but once I've done it once, I'm like, I know it. I've got it. And that's the way it was with TV. Once I'd done it once, I thought, right, I get this and I know what to do. And that was the case with that. It's live. Look, the estimated audience was over 1 billion people for that. So you're just... no disrespect, it isn't Blackfriars on a Friday night. No. It's easier actually, and it was. But
maybe
it was just
some size of room at assembly rooms too.
You can cut in it at 1 billion.
Exactly. How big's a McEwen? They half 1 billion for you. So it's the thought of that. It's the radio I'm really comfortable with, but obviously I was nervous to start with, and I started out as a sidekick. So I then got my ability to work around the studio, but for somebody to say, "There's the mic." And we don't usually do this. We don't usually have a presenter. 1 billion people watching. Going to be huge in Uganda. So,
you're bringing your tour there, I believe.
Really big there.
Is it Glasgow, Edinburgh, and the
Glasgow, Edinburgh, Aberdeen? Couldn't get Dundee, but Uganda's up for it. So.
Joseph Corey and Des Clarke, they're the two biggest big names in Uganda.
Corey was a good man. Listen, it was a lot of that. It just came and went. It's one of these things. Don't cancel Corey.
All those the child soldiers watched SMTV.
Can you imagine that?
They watched Eminem.
Really relatable, yeah. White guy rap, yeah. So obviously a huge moment for me, and then it's back in Glasgow. Well, it's somebody else's go this time.
Could they afford you this time?
They could not get near the budget that I was charging. Yeah, I'm doing the tour of Uganda, so I can't make it. But I'll be around. I want to watch it. I want to go and see some stuff. I know it's not as big as it was, but it's great to have it back anyway.
What's it like doing the Hogmanay thing?
Oh man, brilliant, nerve-wracking. I've done everything with that. I've been the warm-up on that. I was a guest on it. I've done live. I've been pre-recorded. I've been out and about reporting. I was the Janny. I was and Hogmanay in Scotland, not just a big event, but from a televisual point of view, huge.
Aye.
When you're talking about Only an Excuse, the Hogmanay live shows, Jackie Bird. I'm old enough to remember Ricky Fulton doing all the I Am Jolly stuff and the Scotch and Rye sketches. Comedy's very much been at the centre of that. And even I think things like Still Game and Queen of the New Year now. So we're trying to, obviously, and you guys are part of it as well, trying to showcase what we've got for a new generation, because you can't live in the past and you've got to try and move on. So then to get the call to say we're putting together a package where Susan Calman is going to be doing the stuff in Glasgow and you're going to be in Edinburgh. And I thought, right, so what? I'm doing the thing. Yeah, we're not going to let the camera leave your face as you say 10, 9, 8. Now, how sinister is that? Happy New Year. Bye. Kill him now. So you think the power I've got at that point.
I hope you go for a job about 10 minutes.
Fireworks have been at 3 minutes past. What a shame that was. Happy New Year.
Accidentally demolished loads of flats.
And that could happen, mate. And that's an amazing, from a Scottish point of view, there's no bigger show on TV. That's the highest rated thing that happens in Scotland, is the Hogmanay output on BBC One. And it's but the last time I did it, so this year I'm live. So part of it you'll know was pre-recorded. And I think
obviously last year, and it was like the storm, they had to cancel Edinburgh.
What? That was not ideal.
No.
That happened. So
was that on your show that happened?
No, thanks for that. It wasn't in my show, and I got away with that, right? And I'll tell you,
that's
Steve,
why he's on this year.
That's why I got it this year. It was nobody's fault. It was just one of those things that can happen. So now the BBC had to admit that certain parts of it was pre-recorded. Most people, I think, knew that. I did the earlier part of the Hogmanay show. So I had Breaking the Year that went out, which was great, and I had the Not Quite End of Year show, which is what I wanted. I wanted a chat show. I wanted that format, and we do it in the same studio with the same guests, and it's throwing forward to this big Hogmanay Live wraparound programme. But obviously they then had done it, rightfully so, I think, to get better guests and to make a tighter product that they could cut to live stuff. but have the studio stuff as a nice package pre-recorded thing, which is all good and well, unless Edinburgh gets cancelled. And Edinburgh's party got cancelled. The weather was atrocious. They couldn't have it. So when you've got people on screen saying, we're going live to Edinburgh, it's wild, fireworks. Then they're having to show old fireworks from years gone by. So I think then the decision was made, well, why don't we
Ricky
return?
Fulton setting them off.
Gotta be brilliant. So that is, it's almost like that. So then they decided, well, look, we'll keep the elements to that because it is really good and entertaining, but go back to the way it was formatted, which was having someone live there, which is going to be me.
Yeah, amazing.
Brilliant.
And you mentioned Breaking the News as well. Obviously, you've been the host of that since the start. We've all been on it a few times. And so, what was the anniversary this year? Was it the 20th season or something?
Well, 10 years.
10 years it was.
I think we're at over 20. I mean, I think we must be around nearly 30 seasons now because we do 3 a year, 3 blocks of 10. And then we have specials like Breaking the Year and 10-year special and some themed ones, which are much harder to write for. Let's talk about Valentine's.
Well, I done that one actually, but it was during COVID and there was no audience, remember?
That's right,
In the studio.
Was it, what one was the clip that keeps getting played?
Oh, that one where I
Cocaine.
said, I never thought they would use that.
Mate.
I never thought they'd use it. It says, I was like, what, 1 in 50 of us met our soulmate doing what? And I just said cocaine. And then obviously I put that clip up and it's like,
Mate, it did amazing numbers, that
was
clip.
great.
And I got sent that so many times. Because obviously I'm buckled at it. Because that's Breaking the News is the best job in the world. Because you guys are brilliant. Everyone we get on, it's amazing. And I just sit there. And
You're so quick on it though, because
Yeah,
like
you
seeing amount of
make it
times
good.
like you really can just like keep things going along and saving it. And
yeah.
that's what I was talking about at the start. It's like you've got that thing of like have just the kind of polishedness of like, the presenter, but just so quick
if
with the
joke
jokes
dies
and
in
all
its
that.
arse, you're good at all. You're also good at just pretending that it's not that shit. You go,
Yeah, we appreciate that. Thanks.
No soldier dies in my battlefield. And I've said that many times. Oh my God.
Sound like
Joseph was misunderstood. He was a businessman and he started them young. Customs are different there. But I know what you mean. It's because I've been there, obviously, and I still do other panel shows, and you just want to foster a nice atmosphere, and we're on it together. We're just trying to entertain, and you know what it's like because you're trying things. For those that aren't aware, we don't do it live. We pre-record it right up to as soon as we can before broadcast. So that means it gives you the license. We probably record for 3 times as long as we really need.
Yeah.
So it gives you a chance for jokes to fail, and that's okay as long as in the room you still try and pretend that everything's meant to happen exactly the way it's meant to happen.
100%. No, it's a great show. It's been an amazing it's because like obviously like you grow up and you watch like ones in the telly and all that, and then getting to actually do like panel shows like that. I really love it. Like, I really enjoy.
it's one of the only sort of panel shows as well that's kind of left, really. Like,
Yeah, totally.
It does feel that way, and we've always just kind of been in our own lane. So it's been a success. So Dave Flynn's the main producer. We've got a great team, Lauren, Chris and many others that are the real powerhouses behind the scenes. Brilliant writers as well.
Yeah.
So because we've had such a success on it, up till now, they've allowed us to do what we do and just be able to, plough our own furrow. And the talent that we've got through, and including myself, being a host of that, because I'd been the panellist for so many times, I felt I was ready.
Had you done a lot of other panel shows and stuff?
Yeah, but never one of the main ones. I never did Mock the Week, never did Have I Got News for You. Did a lot of the kind of news quiz and the Radio 4 panel stuff. And, we had ones up in Scotland. The Queen Victoria ate my hamster. I mean, the amount of shite I've done.
Did you do the live floor show back in the day?
Yeah.
What was that like? Because I only really knew about. I can't remember that like growing up. But I obviously remember reading Frankie's book and he was in that and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, Frankie was a regular on it and was amazing. Everybody was brilliant, and I came around at a time where there was just so much talent. Generally, even in the open mic scene, I remember being in a final and it was Russell Brand was there. You'd another Alan
Whatever
Carr.
happened to him?
Whatever did happen to him? Yeah.
Doing
Fell off
things
the
in
face of the
America
earth.
these days. I
Yeah, he
think.
does a podcast similar to this. Not as right wing as this one, but he's getting there.
He's in the Rutherglen Reformer or whatever it was.
He's got Bobby Davro on.
But that was an amazing era, and when you've come from just doing stand up locally and central Scotland really, to then being on a stage. And the first time I saw Alan Carr, I was blown away. I actually was down at a gig in Altrincham, and I thought, man, this is the energy.
You've been
that
watching
guy
The Traitors?
Yeah.
He's fucking
He's
funny, isn't he?
unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's carried that. Already a great series, and he's carried it.
Yeah,
I mean,
so good.
how amazing. I didn't think I'd be good at it. And I shared a house with him at the Fringe one year, and just for a few days, I think we were in a final of the BBC New Comedy Awards.
Aye.
And he's the nicest guy ever, and he is that guy.
Yeah.
On and off screen. He's just a gem. And being around them, Russell Howard, all those guys as well. Miles Jupp was coming. I mean, there's people I'm forgetting at this time. And to be able to measure yourself, John Bishop, all of that, they were
crop.
that great, amazing people. So to try and hang with them, I need to be good.
Totally.
And to get anywhere being placed in amongst those competitions was great grounding for me. And then the live flow show comes up, and it's the studios in Glasgow, but it's this show that's going to go, firstly in Scotland, then all around the UK as well.
Aye.
And it was.
And so would they just have people doing spots, like doing stand up on it? Kind of
I was the first spot on it.
Wow.
Not I was the first to do a spot on it. There was other people that were regulars,
Aye.
like Reverend Obadiah,
yeah,
Jill
yeah,
Muir, and
was Greg the host of that?
Greg Hemphill hosted
Aye.
it. Then it went
Really?
network, and it was Dara O'Brien.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they kept some people for network and some people they didn't.
Yeah.
And Frankie, I think, was doing both, but I don't think he got as many episodes
Aye.
network. And I mean, he was miles ahead of anything I'd seen at that time.
Really?
Yeah, he was a generation before me, Frankie, and
Aye.
I just
Would
thought
you
he was
think just
great.
like the quality of the writing and stuff like that as well and on that?
I could see. Yeah, listen, what do I know? But yeah, I'm a comedy fan first and foremost, and I just looked at him and thought, this is there was no word that was there that wasn't meant to be there.
Totally.
That's what, and I still feel that about him.
Yeah.
He's so good.
And at that point, you never visualised that he would one day vilify you on his podcast.
Mate, listen, I found a whole new audience.
Because what was it like doing their live show? By
Mate,
the way?
Shapeshifter.
What happened? What was
Yeah,
this?
we don't know about this, me and
Yeah,
Steve.
well, we've got apparently there's some other podcast called Here Comes the Guillotine or
Oh,
something, and so they've kind of had a running joke about you on it, Des. Is that
Well, they're
right?
running. Well, he always introduced me as I don't know what the full. I mean, definitely paedophile is in there somewhere. And from Frankie, that's the most affectionate compliment you will ever get. And that's someone I consider a friend, and a colleague, and a shapeshifter. But he always did that intro for me. He always did that intro for me. I could be doing TV.
That's a tough one to come onto the live floor show from.
Yeah. But deal with it.
Our first ever
Yeah.
stand up spot.
Exactly,
Is a
yeah.
paedophilic
Shapeshifter.
shapeshifter.
Yes, that was pretty much it. Yeah. And and the thing is, the amount of people that go, I can't believe he's calling you a shapeshifter. I think the other one's worse. I think it's worse. Don't start with that one. And he had the intro for years, and then he took it on to Here Comes the Guillotine.
Brilliant.
And now I get so many people come up to me saying shapeshifter. They won't say the other word in public. And again, doing the live show was unbelievable.
Aye.
It was a hero's welcome. It was there he is. He actually exists, and I had to reappear during the thing in all my different forms. So I was very happy with that. But again, these guys were brilliant. To look up to that generation of comedians coming through, and then the education I got at the Fringe. The first Fringe show I did was the midnight show at the Gilded Balloon in the old Cowgate. So that's how far back I'm going. So my comedy career, my career really started in 2000, and then 2001 I was at the midnight show. So we would then, when you finish your spot, you'd just go the back stairs down and you'd see Leighton live. What an education that was.
Did you do Leighton live back then?
Never.
Never?
I wasn't brave enough.
You're just new as well.
I was just
aren't you?
new. They wouldn't have put me on at that stage, and I wasn't ready for it.
And that was back when it was brutal as well.
Who was
Now it's
on
quite
at that
sanitised.
time?
Regular compares would have been Ross Noble,
Yeah.
Adam Hills, Daniel Kitson.
Daniel Kitson.
Yeah.
You're watching
Unbelievable.
unbelievable. Brilliant, genius. Johnny Vegas, Sean Cullen, all of these guys. They were just so good. And seeing, so then you go and you think you're all right at comedy, and you go and watch. At that time, it was really the three that I mentioned: Adam Hills,
Aye.
Ross Noble, and then you go and see Daniel Kitson, and just doing it differently,
Yeah.
and all being brilliant. But I will tell you, there's one act that stood out for me that I saw, and this was a night at Leighton Live where everybody was dying. And I think I'm maybe mixing it up, but the Russell Brand thing I was there with glass
Aye,
in the
the
audience
glass,
and stuff getting thrown.
aye.
That was the type of audiences that were around then. And he walked on stage and it had been a death for everyone, and it was wild, and it was Tommy Tiernan.
Oh, aye.
really?
Tommy walked on stage and everyone was trying to get in about the crowd, and Tommy Tiernan kept the mic in the stand, stood far too far back from it, and shouted his set like this, telling a whimsical story about a young man and a young boy in a field. Nobody knows what happened. And then he just told this amazing story, and the audience, from being like literally a scene you would see in a saloon bar fight, ready to murder each other, shouting, and then within about 2 to 3 minutes, he never, ever faltered, and they quietened down.
Wow.
And he got standing ovation.
And-
And big laughs all the way through.
Aye, because I was going to ask, like, was it the anticipation of waiting to hear what happens in the story, or was it the laughs, or was it both?
Everything. And his
Aye.
skill, the bravery. And I know people talk about his stand-up brave, but when you're going out there and when you say, I'm going to stand here in this one spot, and he never moved 20 minutes or whatever he did.
Aye.
And he told the story, and it felt to me like one story. And I think it really was
Aye.
with him, and he could do that. And he's absolutely brilliant. And he's one that I would look to in the vein of Connolly as a real storyteller.
Totally.
And watching him coming through was amazing. And that was a demonstration to me as a different way to play a gig like that. Because I would go in and go, right, come on, and try and get in about that crowd and hush them. Rather, what he did was, I'm going to be here and you're going to come to me.
Yeah.
And they did, and he was awesome.
That's
That's
amazing.
great.
Yeah.
Interesting you talk about bravery, Des, because as we'd alluded to earlier on, a few years ago you done a show on BBC Scotland called Des Doesn't Do.
Yes.
And it was all about the stuff. So there's a lot of stuff in your life you hadn't done.
Yeah.
So it was stuff like not learning to drive, swimming, being afraid of dogs, that type of thing.
All of that, yeah.
How much are you playing up to this, or are you actually
Genuine.
Yeah.
I'm not an actor. I couldn't fake that. And I went in for a meeting about something else, and Sport Relief was happening at the time, and the producers were meeting me about something else, and I just happened to say, like, I would do at the end of it, oh, what are you doing now? Oh, I'm away for a driving lesson. You can't drive. And I was like, no. And then he said, what age are you? I think I was about 36 or something, 36. Oh, I can't drive. And I said, wait, I can't even ride a bike. And I could just see somebody writing down. So what, you can't drive, you can't ride a bike. What else can't you do? And I started, we just had a chat, and they took those two, and swimming, and which I'm still cripplingly scared
Really?
of. Unbelievably so, Mark.
So
Really.
was that the one that didn't take, would you say, out of all of
Yeah.
them?
So there was a few. That then became the Sport Relief special, from which Des Doesn't Do got a couple of series out of it.
yeah.
And so we had to do, again, up against time. They were looking for ideas, and again, right guy, right place. And they pitched it. It got over the line, and so I had to try and complete these challenges to certain standards. And it was called Des Clarke's Sport Relief Triathlon. TRY, and that was, so I was trying it, and really scary, because it was February. It was the Beast of the East, and I was doing open water outdoor swimming in Loch Ness, whilst Jason Byrne shouted at me through a megaphone, who books this, right? And my final task in that was I couldn't swim. I still can't. But they put me in the wetsuit, and they just allowed me to doggy paddle, but I had to stay afloat, and the producers wouldn't let the people that could save me get too near me, because it didn't look good for the shot. So I'm bricking it. The final one was across the River Tweed.
That's what I was going to say. I remember watching that, and it's like, that's between the border of Scotland and England?
I had to swim from Scotland to England. Can't swim, scared of water, no prep. And all I had was an amazing instructor, a guy called Robert, who would give me lessons in the Village Hotel swimming pool in Glasgow. And then suddenly I've gone from an outdoor pool, I was in Loch Ness, I was in Loch Lomond, and now I'm swimming against the current in the River Tweed. And in Scotland, there was Michelle McManus with a choir singing Dadly Dat Des, and they'd reworded 500 miles. And then for some reason on the other side was Shazia Mirza, the comedian with tea cakes. And obviously a lustful John Barrowman just off camera. and it was bonkers. I was so scared. I cried. I mean, I really,
man.
I am someone that for years I bottled up emotion. And I think doing that series was a change for me, because as part of all of that, I had to go and see a therapist for the first time in my life. Who sat me down, and it turns out when they get me going, I can talk. And they were like, okay, this is more than swimming I've got to unpick here. And the worst one was heights as well. Well, heights and swimming were the two worst, sorry. And obviously, that was the first time I'd cried in public because I had to learn to hold my emotion in. I thought because of how much I was bullied as a kid, you don't sell it to them. You don't show your emotion. This is all wrapped up in west of Scotland, machismo bollocks.
Yeah.
But at the time, that was my survival route. And then obviously doing these shows, somebody started to unpick me. And the heights one was crazy because I grew up, as you know, in the high flats. And I had a fear of heights that she found was linked to me seeing people take their own life.
Oh, fucking hell.
From the flats. People,
Did that happen a lot? Or-
I remember 2 incidents.
Fuck.
I think one we were told was misadventure. So somebody was maybe high and jumped out, and somebody, I think, it had actually taken their own life.
God.
So, and I was a real kind of, I don't want to say loner. I was a quiet, shy kid that would often look out the window, and that's where the observational side of it would come in. And these flats were right opposite me, and you'd see everything, and I remember seeing that. And that was...
That would make anyone want to demolish the Red Rose Flats.
I can make my memories go away. But she was brilliant. The woman that sorted me with that, the heights thing is pretty much there because I had to do, I think recently, a climbing wall for one of these TV VTs that I do for Morning Live and one show.
Yeah.
And I was able to do it because she did VR headset therapy. So she put a headset on me, and I was in this woman's house. She was brilliant in her house in Newton Mearns, and I knew I was in her house. But when I put that headset on, I was 150 floors up in New York.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Jeez, oh.
And that was not for the first time. I shat myself, and it didn't help this time.
No.
And again, it was 8 to 10 sessions, and bit by bit, I got better. So it was like almost like exposure therapy.
Aye.
So that helped with that. But the other things obviously led on to further conversations, and we did probably 13 different things that I tried to accomplish.
Including driving, you had Nicola Sturgeon in the back seat.
Oh my God. Well, you know my first 2 passengers.
Who was that?
Nicola Sturgeon and Liam Withnell. They went, who's the 2 most famous people in Scotland?
Well, that is the last guest we had in here, actually.
Yeah, so Liam, so I didn't know anything about this, so I couldn't drive at that time. So they had to do a series of challenges for this show, for Sport Relief, that showcased me driving. So they had me doing stock car racing with Joe McFadden,
Right.
the actor, and then I was off-road rally driving with a guy from Top Gear, a lovely guy whose name I've forgotten, not Clarkson, and
Matt LeBlanc.
yeah,
Did you ever watch Chums?
it wasn't Big Joey. No, it was him. His name's. Please, I'm sorry if
James
you.
May, Richard Hammond.
It wasn't. No, it was the. It was
Freddie
the.
Flintoff.
Freddie Flintoff?
It was the second. No,
The other
Paddy
guy.
McGuinness.
somebody Google it. And what?
Was it the Stig?
It was not the stick. It was this lovely guy and Isa from Still Game.
Oh.
And for some reason, because obviously she's got a big driving background on the show, so we did that. And then the final challenge was in a dual control, going through Edinburgh, and it was a driving instructor there. And then passengers would be brought into the back, like some sort of creepy hitchhiker movie. And Sturgeon was the first passenger. First
nice,
person
yeah.
I ever drove was Nicola Sturgeon, who at the time was the First
First
Minister.
Minister at the time, eh?
And with the security brief in a car behind her. And this was a big, difficult red tape thing to organise. And we did. And it was, I just
Was that
about
before she got the camper
gonna say.
van?
Didn't know you got dual control camper van.
So this would be better, but if it was bigger. And then I drove her, and it was shaky as anything. She, chatting away, she couldn't drive either. So we had plenty of chat over that. And maybe I'm imagining that she was scared of dogs as well. I'm not sure if that's true. But anyway, we had a nice chat about it, filmed it, and this was the big booking. This was part of us getting the commission.
Totally.
And we got her going. And then the producer came to me 5 minutes later and went, "I'm so sorry we couldn't tell you why you were in there. Every GoPro failed. Apart from the one in your face. So all we got was just you. You could be talking to anybody. Looking like, "Hi Nicola, how you doing? Look at that Donald Trump.
Looks like you've had a breakdown.
Yeah, completely." And that's it. We then had to rearrange her, and we thought we'll never get her again. She's so busy. She's the First Minister of Scotland, you know, and she did it an hour later.
Wow.
Yeah, she came back after First Minister's questions, and we did the same journey again, and it was even better.
Fair play. That's
And,
good.
and that helped a lot. And then Liam Withnell, for some reason, must have been
Is
desperate.
he just needing a lift? Something?
You're still boozing at this point.
Yeah. I was like, "What are you doing here?" He went, "I don't really know what this is for, but you know, gig's a gig." BBC One Network, and he got in the car.
Wow. And you talk about BBC One Network as well. What's it like doing the One Show?
Mad. Absolutely mad. Oh, unbelievably so. You know, you do
You
these...
have, I mean this with nothing but love, Des, but you have got the most Alan Partridge life of anyone I've ever met, and I think that's brilliant.
Well, thank you for that. That's me. If I have that and nothing else, that is the most beautiful thing you've ever said. I agree with you, mate. I totally agree
It's
with
brilliant.
you. I was doing laughter yoga the other week for it, and which is mad.
What the fuck's that?
So that's where it's yoga, but they believe in the power and the positivity of laughter can help you holistically, and it can also help actually exercise certain muscles. So it was a brilliant German instructor, and I was in Morningside.
That's a tough start.
I know exactly. Yeah, laugh now. But she was brilliant. But she had to. I mean, this is a weird bit of chat, but she would make you laugh by saying, "Okay, pretend you're starting a car. Ha 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 ha. Now the car is running. Ha 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 ha. Now you're turning a corner. Ha." And then she would act out different scenarios in the day, but through only the medium of laughter. And thought it was the most embarrassing thing to being the best thing I've ever done in my life.
Wow.
Because once you just buy into it, it's delirium.
Was there a part of you going, I'm just glad they didn't make me go up and do a set in front of people doing the downward
Can you
dog or
imagine?
Down on your ass at the laughter therapy workshop.
And he's no Bobby Davro. He farted. So I had to do all that. And then you get the lives. Obviously, I always do the stuff from the Fringe where you've got, you got 3 minutes with Giles Brandreth. Right, good luck, here we go. And then I was doing one this year, and on the sofa, I can't remember everyone that was on it, but it was like Pierce Brosnan, Ben Kingsley, like heroes. And they cut to me live in Edinburgh trying to hula hoop. This is not how I wanted to meet my idols. But it's been a great show for me.
Amazing.
You know, in terms of network, you know, it sits there at prime time. It knows what it is. It can have Tom Cruise on 1 minute and an item at Badgers the next. And they'll ask him about it. He goes, yeah, I'm really sad to see about those Badgers. And then they'll just move on with the next bit.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Have you ever seen that clip of Mel Brooks on the One Show?
No.
We reference it all. I said it this hour. But he's sat on the couch and he doesn't know what the show is, and then it's a really sad segment or something, and then Alex Jones goes, and now over to like Giles Brandreth at the fucking Penguin Museum or whatever. And Mel Brooks just goes, "What a crazy show this is!"
And coming from him, that's right up there. I think it's great. As I say, it's a show that I watched, like SMTV. These were shows that I watched, and then I was in. And I sort of feel the same with Breaking the News. I watch so many panel shows. To get your own,
yeah, totally,
would be a dream.
But it's good to see somebody from Scotland like yourself, and somebody obviously for the comedy world as well, like get like on these type of shows and doing these kind of roles, because it's like just opens the door, I think, for all of us in a way, although not taking away from your gigs.
No, listen, you can absolutely have it. But you should be leaving a legacy. You should be bringing through the next generation, because it was hard to break through, and I always talk about having this accent. And when I first got into it, I was sent for elocution lessons.
Really?
When I first started doing network television. But the guy taking me just did one session and said, "You don't need this. You're very clear. It's a very distinctive and strong Scottish accent, but you're clear." And that's all you look for.
See, when you're on the radio and stuff like that, do you ever get kind of like, because I know people when they like study like broadcasting and stuff like that, like there's like a sort of Clyde one way of speaking and all this kind of stuff. Like, do you see, even just when it comes to like getting rid of verbal tics, do you get any instruction on that type of thing?
I've never been given that, no.
Aye.
And I've always tried to keep my voice so that when you hear, there's no point having a radio voice, because then you don't know.
One of those radio voices,
Especially though if you're doing stand-up and that, and they would maybe expect you to do that on stage or whatever.
So you're not getting the same guy.
Yeah.
I've had amazing coaching in radio.
Aye.
Because I didn't get coached on how to do stand-up. You just watch it and you feel it and you try and pick up from it. But on the radio, there is a knack to try and reset. You're resetting the room. So as a compere, you're a compere when you host on the radio. You're resetting the room. But in radio, you've got to remember, somebody might be listening for the first time and they might not have heard the bit you did before, and you've got to introduce everyone. So it's why, and obviously the way radio is measured, people tick a diary for what they've listened to, or they can do it online. So that's why you have to say the station name and the name of the hosts and all that.
Yeah.
And I had some amazing coaches help with my radio storytelling. So that gave me transferable skills from the stand-up there and then coming back. In terms of the vocal tics, we all have them. We've all got words that we lean on, but if you listen back to your stand-up, you'll hear, why do I say like so many times? Why do I Why do you go
Right, and all that
right?
stuff.
We do it so many
Not to
times.
mention just fuck.
I know. Or the amount of times you're like, why am I swearing so much?
Yeah,
it's a
so-
story about the birth of a baby. There's no need for it. But all of that, I think you can sort of self-study a bit as well. But I was so lucky in radio. I came at a time where they would send these consultants round and take what you need from them, but you've still got to be yourself.
Absolutely.
You can't be a product. You can't just be somebody else. Learn what you can, but be you.
Yeah.
Is there any like one thing you would say, like in terms of things you've learned from radio and your experience there that you've taken on stage? Is there anything like that?
I think, but probably resetting the room. I think as a compere and as a host, very good, and also word economy, and it is getting out the vocal tics. So I think I'm probably quite good now at keeping things going and not doing that, which is when I started out, my whole style was self-interruption. See, my first 2 years, I was very manic, very stylised, and I go, and it almost became a bit. That then I was like, I can't make this a set.
Yeah.
So what radio taught me was the fact that people listen more intently to radio, so you kind of have to get rid of any of the stuff that's not meant to be there. So I probably I trimmed my set, like all the fat out of it, so everything that was there was meant to be there. And again, that's coming back to somebody like Frankie Boyle, who I think every word he says is meant to be there.
Yeah. And yet nobody accuses him of being a shapeshifter.
Definitely. That's exactly it. But you're right, yeah, I'm a shapeshifter. That's I'm not here to confess and admit
It's
this.
good we finally got the admission.
We got there in the end.
Well, listen, I think that's probably about covers it for time-wise this week. Des, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah,
You're
thank
back
you.
on tour if people
Yeah.
want to come and see you.
I know.
You stand up.
I
What cities in Uganda are you hitting up?
But I now have no Ugandan knowledge and I'm going to offend a lot of people. So, do you know anywhere in Uganda that I think a Weatherspoons there? I'm not interested.
You're doing the Citizens Theatre, which you kindly let me open for you a few years ago when it was open the last time.
And you were brilliant.
Thank you very much. Well, it was the first time I'd really done a room like that, I think. So, no, it was amazing.
Well, you could
experience
see
for
then
me.
from that night that you were a total natural, and it
thanks,
was a
man.
nightmare to follow, and you're not getting back again for this one. But, no, but you're all great stand-ups, and this I don't do it often enough, and I needed to get back into it. And the stand-up thing has been what's given me everything.
Yeah.
It was my passion. It was the only thing I ever wanted to do. Everything else came as a bonus, and I would, stand-up was always. Either that or be a snooker player, but I didn't have the ability to do that. So
You
stand
look
up.
great in a waistcoat, though, Des.
100%.
That's exactly what I use for the corporate events. I'm cosplaying as Stephen Hendry. I know I'm giving out National Crematorium of the Year, but really I've just beaten Jimmy White.
Crucible's lost is the Scottish Curry
Mate,
Awards gain.
I know that, and I go every year. I love it. No, but listen, I love doing stand-up, and I do miss doing longer shows. I've not done a tour show like this in a decade. So the Citizens Theatre is the main one in Glasgow.
What date are you there, do you know?
Not a clue.
Right.
Don't know. Sometime in March.
Right, okay.
It'll
It's
be-
for Glasgow Comedy Festival?
Glasgow Comedy Festival.
And where else are you doing?
I'm doing the Monkey Barrel in Edinburgh. I'm doing the Lemon Tree in Aberdeen as well. Just 3 dates before I bottle it and give it up again. But because
Just go for a job in 10 minutes.
I will
before
go
you-
if the show is 10 minutes late starting and you smell something, hear a hand dryer, you'll know what's happened. But being from the Gorbals, playing the Citizens Theatre, that was across the road from me as a boy when I grew up. So as soon as they gave that a facelift, as soon as they revamped that, I thought, well, that's the time for me. A rebirth of the theatre, rebirth of me. Let's do it.
Super. We'll put
see
we'll put the links in the description and stuff
Thank
like that
you,
in this
mate.
episode. Des, thank you so much for
Yeah,
joining
cheers,
us, man.
thank
Really
you.
nice
Thanks
to
so
meet
much.
you.
Pleasure.
And thanks a lot for tuning in, guys, as well. Obviously, just before we go, please remember to like and subscribe on YouTube. Give us a 5-star review and Apple
He's our Des
Podcast
Clarke.
and Spotify.
Very good.
And you can follow us at SomewherePod on Instagram, TikTok and Twitter, and send any questions you've got to our email address, which is somewherepod@gmail.com. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys, and I'll speak to you very soon.
Thank you.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
Des.
I'll wait for a job.